move forward through just a few preliminaries, and then we'll be bringing Jeff on. I'm so excited. We always like to start our programs also with a inspiration or encouragement statement. And tonight encouragement statement says, you want to read that?
Allow your worldly bodily goals to be second to one prevailing desire for peace of mind. Once the goal of peace is set, its outcome is certain because a peaceful self is your reality. And that quote is from Jeff Bailey, tonight's guest.
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, those are words of wisdom from Jeff. So, without any further delay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring our good friend and guest, Jeff Bailey, on tonight. And there he is. All right.
Hey,
Hey, Jeff,
all
how are you
right.
doing?
Excellent. Thank you so much for having
Wonderful.
me here.
Oh,
And
we're
this is,
so, go ahead.
yeah, and I just want to introduce you to Lisa too. I don't think you've met Lisa, but she's a student. She's been through our teacher training program. She can't hear what you're saying, but she listens with her heart anyway. So what she needs to hear just comes right through.
Well,
Yeah, so she's
hello.
going to be demonstrating for us some tonight.
Namaste.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much for being with us tonight. This is a great space tonight. This is a happy space, and so
Hmm.
we just want to just move with your vibration tonight, Jeff. Jeff is the founder of Avita Yoga. Jeff is a master yoga and meditation teacher, and his training facility is in Boulder, Colorado, and it's called the Yoga Loft. And it is from that place that he sends this very unique expression of Avita Yoga around the world globally, virtually, and he also provides direct service to those in the Boulder area. Am I right, Jeff?
That sounds good to me. Yeah. I'd
Yeah.
like to meet this guy.
Jeff's website, you can see more of Jeff at his website, avitaonline.com.
Yes.
Avita, Avita online.com.
Yes, and we'll put that up at the end of the
Mhm.
program here. So, without any further delay, we are going to kind of turn it over to you, Jeff. And I would just like to basically start out by asking the question or posing the question.
Did we tell Jeff thank you so much for being with us? Did we say that?
I don't know, but we're going to do it. We'll pause
I
right here and do it.
Thank you so much for being with us. Oliver's incredibly excited. So we got all
yeah,
kinds of things going on over here.
On our side,
I
yes.
feel your gratitude. Yeah.
Yes. Well,
We appreciate
anyway, in spite of technology, Jeff, I have a question, and that question it would be, well, what is Avita Yoga, and what's so different about it?
Yeah. What is Avita Yoga? It's I'll tell you, most often than not, when I get asked that question, I just I hope to have a business card in my pocket, and I hand people a business card. When they go to the site, they can type in when they can choose a class, and they can type in the access code 1 free and just take a free class. And so it's easier to just say, oh, just try a class than it is to explain it. But since you asked, and luckily here in a minute, we're going to experience it. But since you asked, I'll try to put words to it. We use attainable shapes that just about anyone can do. And I have a whole program for people who can't get down on the floor or even need to do the yoga from a bed. It's the same principles, no matter where you are in your body. And so it's always using an attainable shape that, in a way, certainly it stimulates healing physiology in the body. We don't understand yet how healing compression is. So instead of trying to stretch and certainly instead of trying to accomplish a shape and quote unquote get it right, we use attainable shapes. We use the shape as a vehicle for meditation. I like to say that every shape that we put our body in has its own meditation, and I'll probably even mention that during the practice we're about to do. There's no mirrors, there's no glamour. It doesn't really matter what you wear. Um, it is really designed to be led. So you listen to the words, you listen to the cues, and you let yourself be guided through the practice. It's a whole different story when you try to do it on your own. And it's fine. A lot of people do practice on their own, but they always will come back and say, can I just have the audio? Can I just have, you know, something, because I miss your voice and I miss being guided through the practice. And that's why we have so much online these days too, which I guess was a silver lining of COVID. But there's a stab at the description. How's that sound? Do you have questions?
No, that sounds great. That was absolutely phenomenal. I have, you know, messed around with yoga. I never did the practice, but I wanted to learn the shapes, and the stress was always getting the shape right, and the breathing. I just always knew that the breathing was off. And so I never, you know, I mean, I liked I actually did Pilates more because I just found it so so challenging. But this is entirely different. And we see results very, very quickly.
Very
Incredibly
quickly.
quickly. Yeah.
If it doesn't work, don't do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's, you know, we tend to bang our heads against proverbial walls trying to get somewhere in this world. And as a nod to that quote, which sounded like it came right out of A Course in Miracles, you know, we keep looking for salvation in our bodies or in the world. And so yoga ultimately has to point us in the right direction. It has to point us within, and it has to point us toward our healed mind.
Yeah.
And because, like the Course says, all healing happens at the level of the mind. So we can't just dance around with the body and expect to heal ourselves. We got to get to the source.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you describe your Avita yoga as a meditation.
It's a moving meditation that heals in body and mind.
Wow.
That's the
And that was actually
elevators.
that's where my block was. You know, my block was in the meditation part, because I didn't understand. And so I thought that it was contrary. I thought it was contradictory to what my faith was. But I never got into that anyway, because I spent so much time stressing over getting the you know, getting in the correct position and breathing. So I was never ever at peace. Never.
Yeah. You know, the word yoga alignment is such a kind of a buzzword.
Yeah.
And there is no outer alignment. The only alignment we can really seek is inner, and it's always it always feels good. It always feels right. It's always all inclusive. It leaves nothing and no one out. You know, in that sense, it's universal. It's timeless.
Yes.
It's everything that we don't have here in the world of form. And so when we align with that, and that's where, you know, to quote Socrates and Plato, that's where goodness comes from.
Yes. Yes.
And so we use the yoga, so the body just becomes a vehicle to move us in that direction. So,
wow. And I've heard one of your most famous quotes that said that the body, the bones love pressure.
Oh, yeah.
The bone loves pressure.
You did like that one, didn't you?
I did.
I remember, because you were in an online class that I did, and I remember you talking about that. Yeah. Bones love pressure. That's what stimulates the bone density. It's what stimulates growth. And if I like the word organized. If we're organized in our bodies, then the pressures, how gravity works through us, and how the things we use our bodies for in our lives, those pressures are transmitted through the bones in a way that is healthy. And because the minute the pressure gets off, like we all know what a bunion is, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So if the pressure starts coming down through the hip, even from the low back, it pushes into the hip, and then a little weird down through the knee, through the ankle and foot. And if you'll imagine this is my foot, it all for whatever reason, the pressures get malaligned, and all the pressure goes to that part of the big toe, then the body starts to build bone where there's pressure. And that's why we all as we go through time, and some of us are concerned about losing bone density. That's the whole idea, is to get the pressures coming down into the bones properly to maintain good bone health. The whole practice is really about the bones. And if we can reach the bones and move at the pace and the rhythm that we need to get deep to the bones, then that's where this reorganization just starts to happen. It's really amazing. You can just feel it happening. Incidentally, when we go that deep, we keep it simple, we keep it doable, and that's what just takes us right into this very healing state of mind.
Wow. Well, I'm somewhat of one of your testimonies. I had back problems, lower back problems for the last 3 years. Um, I'm a 40-year golfer, and the golf swing is a very violent move, and it puts a lot of torque on the bodies and the bones and the joints. And so the last 3 years, I was having lower back problems to the point where after a round of golf, I could hardly move. And I sit in on one of your virtual classes, and just and you gave us maybe a 30-minute demonstration on some shapes, attainable shapes that we could get into. And if we could get into those shapes and hold that space, and that was the healing process. And I'm telling you, I did 2 rounds of that Avita yoga, and I haven't had, this was back in April of last year.
Okay, 2 rounds of Avita yoga. How many rounds of golf?
Oh my goodness! Since then,
All right,
probably
we got to keep
40,
the golf game going.
40 or 50, maybe, yeah. And I don't have the
Nice.
problem anymore. It completely went away after just 2 sessions.
Oh, and he called all of his friends. He was like, "You've got to do this."
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. So any golfing buddy that
All right, well, be sure to come back to those shapes every once in a while.
Oh, he does.
I am now. Yeah. So anyway, but look,
I came upstairs and he was lying on the floor, legs up on the wall, sleep. He was so comfortable. He went to sleep in the shape.
Yes.
So.
He's an advanced student. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Well, Jeff, we're going to pause here and just acknowledge our patrons on, Carol and Bob. Thank you for being on. We acknowledge the Sawyers and everyone else that's here viewing. If you just get tuning in, this is Truly Live episode 29, and we have our special guest tonight, Jeff Bailey, who is a master yoga and meditation teacher, and he has one of his ace students with him tonight, Lisa.
Lisa is with us.
So Jeff, you can just go ahead and
should we do some yoga?
Take it to a practical level if you like. Yes. And
one of us is going to go to the floor.
One of us going to go to the floor with you. So
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Excellent. Right. So I'm going to say a few things here. If you have any kind of a strap or a belt, anything like that, take a moment and just get something out of your closet that will work as a belt. We'll be using that. A cushion, some firm pillow. If you have a bolster, then great. Bolsters we use bolsters in countless ways, and they're super, super helpful. So it's a good investment to have one of those around your house. And then ideally, you'll have some wall space. Okay, so we're going to start, and Lisa's going to demonstrate here, but if I'm doing my job right, you'll only need to glance every once in a while at your screen and see. But we're going to start just have a seat on your bolster, sit near the wall, kind of like Lisa is here, and just have the soles of your feet together.
So Yolanda's on the floor first.
Okay. Good. So you're elevated a little bit, and you're leaning against the wall, and your knees are bent, your soles of your feet are together, and your heels are not in close. Typically, when people get in a shape like this, they pull the heels in really close. So you can even measure out 2 hands like this from the from the groin area. Close your eyes. Feel in to your body. Observe the shape from the inside out. Maybe you're leaning against the wall. You just let the wall support you. And in here, in this super simple shape, gravity is working down through your body. Gravity is working on your legs. Your knees are relaxing toward the floor. Super simple shape. But let's just have a moment here to open the practice and feel what the shape has to give us. We don't focus on the breath. The minute I mention that, you may focus on it for a little bit. The only thing I might say is to have your jaw relaxed, your lips together. So as long as you can, breathe through the nose. Unregulated breathing through the nose. Now slowly, slowly start to curve forward. Your head will lead the way. You might even use your hands a little bit to help draw you off the wall. Your spine starts to curve. And maybe for some of you, your hands come to the floor. Now, we could imagine all kinds of perfections on this shape, but guess what? There is no perfection in form. So, how would we perfect it from the inside? How would we have that vertical alignment that I talked about a while ago? Well, you would make sure the sensation feels safe. You would let go of any ideas about accomplishment or getting it right. You let the sensation speak to you, let it capture your attention. You feel the points of compression, and you feel and respect and acknowledge any places of stiffness. It's just the shape showing us the places that need some attention. And we give a little time. We welcome all the feedback, whether it's physical or mental or emotional. If it is ever painful or scary, then you need to find a way to reduce pressure, which might be coming up a little bit, might be lifting the knees up a little bit. Good, and now we'll slowly raise on up. Just keep your eyes closed if you can. Slowly raise back up. Find your way back to the wall. That's good. Yeah, slow, deliberate movement. Okay, now we're going to change the shape up for the hips a little bit. You're going to cross the right leg in front of the left. And here again, people tend to pull the heels in close, but if you look at Lisa here, you can see her heels are out of ways. The left shin, if you look down, you'll see your left shin should be parallel to the end of the mat or to the wall in front of you. If you just make that adjustment, it could be the first time in your life you have that particular shape that brings a unique sensation into your hip. Get to know it. Slowly start to curve forward. See, we're not going for a stretch. We're going for peace of mind. And because we know where to look for peace, we're going to find it within.
Hmm.
Now, if there's any arthritis, if there's any hip condition, if there's stiffness or even arthritis in your low back, it's going to show up here. And you're going to feel that arthritic, sometimes scratchy, irritating sensation. You're not going to be afraid of it, because if you are, you're just going to come up a little bit. You're going to get to know it. You trust the moment. And you'll get to know the difference between healing sensation and outright pain. That's good. Feel your backside broaden. Feel the compression. Give it a little handshake, get to know it, and slowly raise up. Nice. Okay. And then switch the cross of your legs. See, changing the cross brings just enough change in the hips. Remember, we're targeting the bones. We're targeting those problems in the hip joint and around it. We're targeting stiffness in your low back. And as you slowly curve forward, you may notice that depth. Sometimes you'll go right into that deep place. Other times it could have the sensation of a little stretch, something more superficial. Use the shape to inquire. Listen. And sometimes you'll feel many parts of your body talking to you, like maybe an ankle or a little sensation through the knee. Your mind is everywhere. Your mind, with your eyes closed, can observe all that. And if any one of them speaks too loudly, you make an adjustment so that your mind can be at ease with it all, but never avoiding. We're going to find the problem where it is. All right. With your eyes closed, your head heavy, shoulders relaxed, slowly raise back up. Find your way back up to the wall. Now, stay here a moment. Don't move too fast. Don't erase sensation. Don't try to fix. Don't interfere with your body reconciling what you just showed the mind. All good things happen when we get out of our own way. Okay, now you're going to slowly transition. And you're going to spin around and you'll have your legs up on the wall and your head on the bolster. And if you have that belt, you'll have it handy. Good. Your legs will be up on the wall, your head supported by your cushion. And if you'll see for a moment how Lisa is a good, 10, 12 inches from the wall. I'd like you to be about that far, maybe 2 hands away. And if you don't have a wall, I know wall space is a premium in many homes. If you don't have a wall, what will work quite nicely is the seat of a chair or your sofa, your living room sofa. Or heck, put them over the coffee table, right? You just want something so your knees will be bent and your lower leg will be over the cushion of your sofa. The main thing is some degree of elevation on your feet. And your back now is going to be adapting to the floor, which is flat. Now, it doesn't mean we want a flat back. It just means that the patterns, the curves, the nooks and crannies of your back are now being asked to move. And that's what we want. We want movement. Where there's movement, there's health. Now you'll bring the strap around the ball of your right foot. And I'll also just say that maybe for some of you, you'll just have your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. You don't have to have wall space to follow along here. But if you're drawn to this practice, you're going to figure out a way to carve out some wall space. So look at Lisa, and you'll see she's got the strap around the ball of the foot, not the arch, not the heel. And her hands are up high on the strap. She didn't wrap the strap around her hands. She's holding it. And her shoulders are relaxing away from her ears, which this takes a little practice. We're teaching the shoulders to relax and we're putting the hands to work. Nice, healthy work. Like you would just, maybe when you were a kid, you hang from a monkey bar. You're just hanging from your hands here. And then I'd like you to start to activate the right leg and straighten the knee a little more firmly with your thigh muscles. Use your shin muscles to flex the ankle and open the sole of the foot. You just feel your whole backside spreading into the floor. Feel the support of your head, neck relaxed. Looks pretty simple, doesn't it? But if it's your first time, you're going to feel the challenge in your hands and your fingers. Now remember, bones love pressure. Joints thrive with proper pressure. Too much pressure too fast is what we know as injury. But slow, steady, consistent pressure is just remarkably well received by the body and the bones, and this cleansing quality in your joints. You feel the pressure start to build in your hands and fingers, and you just stay with it a little bit. Yeah, you just feel the openness through the back of the leg, the back of the knee. Feel the compression in your hands and fingers. All right. Now we could go directly to the left foot and keep the hands working. Instead, let's rest your hands. Don't stretch them. Don't try to erase the sensation. Just let go of the strap. Rest your hands at your sides, palms up. Observe, wait, watch. Put the strap around the ball of the left foot. Hands high. Good. And you're not pulling on the strap. You're relaxing your shoulders and your arms. And the left foot flexes. You open the underside of the toes toward the ceiling. You open the sole of the foot toward the ceiling. You activate the shin muscle. You activate the thigh muscle. Squeeze those bones. We're targeting the bones, but guess what? We're using every muscle fiber to get there. One of the automatic underlying results of this practice is increased circulation. And if you Google it, you'll see that lack of circulation is the number one cause of pain. And see, in the midst of the effort, in the midst of the use of your hands, in the midst of the use of your fingers, your thigh muscles, there's a practice for peace. Can I be peaceful in the midst of this fill in the blank? And if we can do it here on our yoga mat, then that's something we can carry with us into our lives. That's how the world changes. Squeeze the strap a little bit. Flex the ankle. Feel the muscles in the lower leg. Feel the muscles in the upper leg. It's a very safe angle to fully extend the knee. All right, now release. Set the strap to the side. And now we're going to interlock the fingers behind the right thigh. We're going to guide the right knee toward the center chest. The calf muscle will rest down into your fingers. That's it. And now you're using your fingers, but much less actively, right? You let the friction between your fingers support the shape mostly. Little bend in the elbows. Aiming the knee for the middle of your chest, you might feel this sort of pinchy compression quality in the fold of your hip. The calf muscle keeps resting down into your fingers. Let that weight come into your hands.
Good.
If we can catch the arthritis soon enough in the hands, we can reverse it in the fingers. Works really well for osteoarthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis, we can really help with some of the symptoms, but We won't get to the cause as well as we do here with the osteoarthritis. Yeah, so everything moving you toward a peaceful sense of self. The pain, the sensations, the feedback, it's just all messaging. And you know what happens when we shoot the messenger or we avoid the message? So we're just going to meet it, welcome it all head on. Now extend your leg up again. And bring the left knee toward the center chest. Fingers interlock behind. See, it's really all about the compression. It's super nourishing. We're not pulling ourselves apart, we're joining. Yoga, by definition, joins. So the knee is bent, the calf muscle rests into the fingers, a little space between your ears and your shoulders. You feel your arms doing some work, but just very efficient. Giving exactly as you receive. All right, release your leg. Heel back up on the wall. And then you reach for the bolster and just slide it off to one side. I'll pull it for you. Slide it off to one side so your head comes to the floor. And then locate your strap. Now, you'll fold the strap in half twice so that, you have a little more to hold on to and you don't have a bunch of loose ends hanging around you. Then you're going to hold it up toward the ceiling, about shoulder width apart. And once again, you're going to squeeze the strap with your fingers, with your hands, your thumbs. And you're going to tug on the strap as if to tear it. Now, everything we do is sustainable. Everything about your practice has to be sustainable. Otherwise, we're not going to get sustainable results. Tearing on the strap helps you extend the elbows as you lower slowly overhead. Yeah, go super, super slow. Don't have the goal of touching the floor. Have the goal of finding the first blockage and spending some time with it so it can be undone. This is really nice with legs up on the wall, but it can be equally effective with the knees bent, feet on the floor. See, we want to We want to detoxify the feet and the legs because their gravity's just pooling everything in the feet all day long. We want to increase the blood pressure up through the shoulder, through your arms to your fingers. Now, you're probably in new territory. We don't reach overhead enough. We certainly don't hang from our arms and hands enough, especially as adults these days. So if you get shaky, if it gets a little weak or uncertain, you're in a gold mine. That's good. Just don't avoid it. Don't move too fast. You could be a weightlifter. You could lift weights 6 days a week and still have these little unintegrated places, which will start to wreak havoc later in life. So we want to just keep these areas integrated and clean. Now, slower than you went down, I'd like you to go back up. Maintain a little squeeze on your fingers, maintain a little tug between the strap. Usually gets pretty shaky going up. Pause. They're like little scenic overlooks on your journey here through your shoulders. And wherever the weak link is, it could be a wrist, it could be an elbow, that weak link is going to show up. It's beautiful. Now, some of you may still be coming back up to vertical. And if you're at vertical, just pause there a moment. Less effort, just pause. Let the head of the humerus and the shoulder blades sink down into the floor, even though the elbows are kind of straight. Drop your shoulder blades down into the floor. All right. Now we'll set the strap to the side. Rest your hands. Just feel the sensation in your hands and your shoulders. Maybe it feels like an increase in circulation now. That which is challenged gets better. We just got to keep it simple. If we get too attached to the outcome, then it turns into exercise. Or, it gets turned into a sport or a fitness routine. This is not a fitness routine. Okay, now we'll bring the bolster back underneath the head. And we're going to cross the left thigh all the way over the right thigh. This could be an opportunity to take a look at your screen and see Lisa here. People sit like this in chairs. You cross your thigh all the way over. Okay, so the foot may kind of be down toward the floor, down toward your right hip. There you go. Yeah. That's it. A little more, Oliver. Let your right foot come all the way down by your hip. So it just kind of drops down there. And that way now, and if it's not doing that, then scoot away from the wall a little bit. All right. And then you're going to slowly bend the right knee. There you go. That's good. Now bend the knee, let the right foot slide down the wall. The right knee is going to catch the left knee. You'll stop. You're going to slow down when the sensation gets to be known in the left hip. Yeah, when it gets just right, you pause, you stop, you wait. And now you could take hold of your right shin or your right foot. It's the foot on the right there with your hand. Just reach up with your right hand. There you go. And you're going to just very thoughtfully move that foot down toward the floor. And sorry, Yolanda, it's not going to work so well without a wall. What you can do is interlock your fingers behind your right thigh. Reach the left hand between your thighs. There you go. There it is. Yeah. So, Oliver, have the sole of your foot flat on the wall. There. Yes. Yeah. It's just a very unique, isolated, stretchy sensation in the left hip, deep in the left hip, close to the bone. If you got that, you're there. And if you're there, you'll want to stay there forever because it feels so good. It's such a deep release. Remember, you're not trying to stretch it. You just wait for the release, which is going to continue to happen for the next 24 hours after the practice. So patience is truly a virtue. Okay. Release your foot. Slide the right leg up. And then release the left leg up. All right, right thigh all the way over the left thigh. The foot drops down toward the floor. That's it. Then bend the left knee. Left knee catches the right knee. Wait for the sensation to get just right in the right hip. And then reach up, take the foot on your left. And sometimes it's just the weight of the hand is enough. Okay, let it be a meditation, not some sort of physical accomplishment. Yeah, let peace be your guide. Yeah, so if peace is the goal, then peace must also be the means, the way within. Okay, and then just let go of your foot, rest your hand on the floor, slide the left heel up, and then the right foot up. That's good. Okay, now bend your knees and push yourself back. Stretch your body out nice and long on the floor. And then we're going to put the bolster under your thighs near the knees. So the lower thighs supported, the heels are on the floor, the knees just slightly bent, and your whole spine relaxing on the floor. In fact, I'd like you to lift your hips just an inch off the floor and move your tailbone toward the bolster. Hollow the belly out a little bit. Move your low back a little more fully into the floor. It's a very small detail, but it's profound. So we decompress the low back. We decompress the pelvis. And then open your hands, your arms out toward a T shape. And Oliver, you could just interlock your fingers in your head, under your head, if your left shoulder permits that. There you go. Anyone can have that. If you don't have the space, you can interlock your hands on your head. It can just be a little more intense. So for now, we can just have the hands out in a T shape. And then a little reach out through your fingers. Extend the elbows, open the palms, spread the fingers. Slide the shoulder blades down away from the ears a little bit. Move the thumbnails toward the floor. So there's a spiraling quality. Shoulder blades down, thumbnails toward the floor. Remember? And this could be a dance for some of you. You may not be able to accomplish both those things. It's all right. Find the thing that blocks it. Now lift your nose high, nose way high. Open your throat, lift the chin like you're trying to look at the wall behind you. Resting in your torso, resting in your legs, lift your chin. Keep that height and slowly, slowly turn to the left. Try not to let the chin drop. Instead, slow down for any tension you feel high up in the neck near the occipital ridge, the base of the back of the skull. Slow way down for that tension and let it resolve. Let a little be a lot. It's really important here. And now, let the shape be more passive. Rest more and more passively. It's okay if the elbows bend a little bit. It's okay if your fingers curl a little bit. Yeah, the yoga is an undoing. Undo the blockages to freedom in both body and mind. Okay, and then have a slow, thoughtful reactivation. Arms, fingers spreading, thumbs spreading, shoulder blades down away from the ears. Just feel the engagement, feel the results from that. Lift the chin, open the throat. Yep, slowly make the turn back to the center. Perfection not required. Gentle and kind in your approach. Firm, non-avoiding, but kind-hearted. You make the turn all the way through to the right. This really targets the restrictions at the base of the skull that oftentimes cause headaches and migraines and tension into the shoulders. We're not going to get it in one fell swoop. I'm sorry. We're going to have to just make an introduction here, come back to it periodically. Yeah, and then soften. Touch into the problem, befriend it, and let it go. Set it free. Yeah, see now, isn't it sweet how time and gravity are on our side? There's nothing to fight. In truth, there is nothing to fight. The ego just has us picking them. We're done picking fights. Nose high, throat open, slowly come back to the center. Slow, slow, slow. And then gently bring your arms down by your sides. Yeah, even that doesn't need to be an accomplishment. Just notice that pathway down by your sides where they then rest again. I suppose one of the outcomes of the Avita practice is we get really good at resting. There's even one of the course workbook lessons that says, I rest in God. I don't have to please God. I don't have to accomplish anything. I don't have to do anything for God. Just rest in God. Rest in love. Let the healing and the love and light just come on through. Oh, and by the way, if you fall asleep in the practice, that's you get bonus points for that. That's just fine. Sometimes you nod off for just a few seconds. Sometimes it's minutes. That's all right. You may even want to stay in this shape here for a while, but if you'd like to finish with Lisa and I, just bend your knees, push the bolster away with your feet. Stretch your arms and your legs. And when you're ready, roll onto one side. You can pause a moment there before pushing yourself up. Find a comfortable seat, maybe leaning against the wall, sitting on a cushion. Anything comfortable. We'll kind of finish the way we began. Yeah. Eyes closed. Hands at your heart. Hands at the heart. Your whole body really a symbol, outer symbol of the inner yoga and the inner peace we seek. Namaste.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks for letting us share the practice with you.
Yes.
Oh my
That was
goodness.
phenomenal.
Wow.
So the difference between this yoga and every other, and I've done so many different ones, is afterwards there is an incredible relaxation. I mean, even for the areas that were hurting before, just an incredible,
Nice.
you know, there's the
Yeah.
warmth, so there's the increase in blood circulation. And then I didn't have to think one time about, am I holding the shape correctly? And am I breathing correctly? Not one time. So this is just phenomenal. I told Oliver when we were lying on the floor, I was like, I could go to sleep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's
Wow.
beautiful.
I've been to sleep
You
with
did it perfectly.
my legs up on the wall. I've been
Yeah,
to sleep
yeah.
before. You can do that.
Yeah, that's how I take my naps.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a very constructive way to nap. Actually, you
Wow.
turn your head, conk out for a while. Sometimes your arms start to go to sleep, but you kind of wake up and it's not even that big a deal. You turn your head to the other side and sleep another 10 minutes. You know,
Wow.
it's
Wow.
really nice. And the whole time you're detoxifying your legs, which is really great.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
And Lisa,
You're
thank
welcome.
you
And
so
Lisa.
much.
That
We're
is
saying thank you to you. Yeah.
so that is a
Yeah.
basic introduction into the Avita yoga. Wow. That's just a
It-
basic, right?
Yeah.
It covered a whole lot of areas.
But you guys, it's all basic.
Yeah.
I have hundreds of classes, hundreds of class plans that we evolve through that I'd like to think of them as all being basic because it's all fundamental. We just have to come back to the goal, which you know is peace, and we want to just keep increasing circulation. We just want to keep increasing bone health, and so there's a progression to it. But I'd like to think that it stays very doable, you know, and people still just kind of keep coming back. They just keep getting a lot out of it.
So a few of the comments were, can I be peaceful in? So that was the reminder. And then Brenda said, softening, befriend it, set it free. I loved that one. I made that comment to Oliver. And then Virginia Carter.
That's a universal statement.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're in alignment, because if you're applying that to your own body and you're applying that to this practice, then it must also be able to be applied in everything that you do.
Yes.
Right? In all of our relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Brenda says namaste.
Anyway, sorry, go keep.
Yeah. And then Virginia Carter said, this is great. Thank you so very much. And then
thanks for joining us.
Yeah, here's my best friend, Sheila. She says, hi, family. So this type of yoga helps with knee repair also. It helps everything, does it not, Jeff?
Yeah. Yeah. So the knee, and just real quickly here, the knee, like any other joint, loves to have its full use. And so what happens is when we start to get pain, then we stop using it. We may stop doing our activities. Okay, but um, you may give your activities a little break, but then come to this practice. And so we work on flexion, we work on extension, and there's all kinds of physiology. In my teacher training, we go deep into the physiology, so the teachers really understand uh, what's happening. But for now, you just have to trust that you have a built-in physiology that this whole practice activates. And so it cleans up arthritis, it cleans up the degeneration, it renews the fluid inside the joints, and it activates the healing process in there. And it's important, so important to stay kind in the approach and keep the healing sensation, keep it healing and not painful.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a little intense, but you know it doesn't take your peace away. And that's where we have mats around the room here, and of course I love to be able to see people, and I can see expressions on their face. I can see when they're overdoing or underdoing a little bit. It's rare that people underdo. Most of the time I spend talking people off the edge. And so uh, uh, so anyway, yeah, it's good for the knees.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much. Again, this
Yeah.
has been Jeff Bailey with Avita Yoga. He is his training facility is Yoga Loft in Boulder, Colorado, and his website is avitaonline.com. avitaonline.com. Jeff, this was phenomenal. Lisa, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa.
This was great, great and
All right.
wonderful.
Yes, and we
Okay.
definitely going to have Jeff back
All
multiple
right.
times in a year, and Jeff is also going to be one of our featured master teachers our for our patrons. So
All right.
you definitely want to consider being a patron for Truly Live so that you can get in on these sessions with Jeff so that he can lead you into and point you into the rejuvenating of the tissues and the joints and the bones so that you can experience better health. I mean, who don't
Yes.
want to experience better
Yes.
movement,
Yeah.
mobility? And again, his end game is peace of mind, and
Yes.
which we all
Yeah.
aspire to
It's
ascend
yes,
to more of that.
So let's get
absolutely.
together with Jeff and learn how to apply appropriate pressure to our bones. Wow, that
Yeah.
is a great thing.
And before we close,
Isn't that
Jeff,
cool? Yeah.
and before we close, I need to take care of one business item here.
Look at the time. It's tax time. You already know H&R Block does taxes, but here's what you may not know when you file with H&R Block, like how you can get expert help in person or virtually. Plus, our tax pros average 10 years of experience. You can even request to work with the same tax pro every year, and your biggest possible refund is always guaranteed. No one offers more ways to help with your taxes than H&R Block. At H&R Block, help is here.
Great.
All right,
All right.
H&R Block and our friend Chris, and for all of your tax needs, this is how you can contact him.
So, Jeff, one last question. Do you have a specific class on knees? Do you offer a specific class on knees?
Yeah. If you click through to, if you go to Avita online, you'll be able to click through to our platform, and on that platform, if you can scroll around a little bit, and you'll be able to go to different categories, and there you'll see other styles of yoga. You'll see a little series. There's a short series in there for knees that you could do. Or you could do the Avita Yoga Series 1.0. There's a 1.0, 2.0, and you'd think that it like is this big sort of advancement, like, I don't know, CrossFit or something, but it's not. It's a very, very, very slow, gradual practice where That's what I would say. It's like anybody, if you're drawn to it, because if we target only the knees, we kind of miss.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to just target the knees as you in the practice, because I can't teach somebody how to target the knees without including everything.
Right.
Mhm.
So the best thing, and it's the most affordable thing, I think it's $49 a month. And you just get this sweet progression. It's the 1.0, and you'll do 1, then 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. When you finish that and you're still feeling good, then you can start with 2.0. And it's how I teach. There's just this ongoing movement throughout the body. We include the toes, the fingers.
Yes.
There's neck work. I mean,
Are
you just
these
can't leave anything out.
Yeah. Are these recorded virtual classes?
They're
or
all
are these
recorded.
slides-
Yeah.
Okay, they're all
You can
recorded.
do them
Okay,
anytime of
great.
day. Yeah.
Great. That is wonderful. I think we're going to do
Yeah.
something like that. That was phenomenal. Thank you so much. And she said got it. Thank you so much. So can we just do
Okay.
our loving kindness meditation really
out.
quickly?
Yes.
So Jeff, we always we're so appreciative of everyone who joins with us to stay on their growing edge so that they learn to live their best life. And so what we do is we use the loving kindness meditation from the Dalai Lama, and we do it as a blessing. So we
All
bless
right.
all who
I'm
have
all
joined
in.
with we bless all who have joined with us tonight, and all of those that you hold near and dear to your heart.
May you be truly happy.
May you live in peace.
May you live in love.
May you know the power of forgiveness.
May you live in the recognition that your life has deep meaning and good purpose.
That's the Dalai Lama. And Oliver and I add, may you live in the awareness of who you truly are. We extend this blessing to every being on the planet. And so it is.
And so it is. Well, we come to the end of episode 29 of Truly Live. This has really been live and in color. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank
and
you
Lisa
all so much. Yeah.
And we're going to close out tonight with a tribute to Jeff and Lisa and Avita Yoga.
All right.
So my name.
Thank you very much.
So I'm Oliver, and this is.
I'm Yolanda.
And we're the OK Blues.
That you've done for me, blessings unconditional, they seem to overtake me. Your hand of mercy proving faithful and true. Jesus, how can I express my thanks to you for your grace and kindness, oh agent of days. I'll give you thanks, oh Lord, now and always. Oh, I just want to say thank you for your love. Thank you for the love. Thanks to you for all of the times that you brought me through. Lord, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your grace. Thank you, Lord, for keeping me safe. Thanks to you that I can share the good news of a Savior